know, we've spoken on this program about a lot of Democrats that are challenging Senator Cornyn, but this is the first time we speak with the Republican, Mark Yancey, who announced he is challenging Senator Cornyn to represent Texas in the U.S. Senate. Joining us on 710 KURV is Mark Yancey. Thank you so much for joining us, Mark. We appreciate it. First, we want to get to know you. Since we don't know who you are, we're right here in the Rio Grande Valley. Tell us more about Mark Yancey and who he is, who you are.
Well, first of all, thanks, Roxanne, for having me. I appreciate the opportunity. I live in Dallas. I've lived in Texas for 33 years. You know, I'm a proud Texan, and I'm very excited about this opportunity to run against Senator Cornyn. I've built 4 successful financial service businesses in the Dallas area that have employed hundreds of people, and we have done that without borrowing a dime of money to pay our payroll or other operating costs. I'd certainly like to take that as a Reagan Republican and take that conservative fiscal conservatism back to Washington and apply it to the financial mess that we have in Washington today, amongst other things.
Mr. Yancey, this is Davis Rankin. Are there any issues in particular? Hello. Are there any issues in particular you're gonna emphasize? And number one, and the other side of that coin may be something that the incumbent is not doing or not effective doing
that you would want to do.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for the question. It's our opinion, and we've been working on this for some 3 months now, is that Senator Cornyn has, in our opinion, has taken sides with President Trump and Mitch McConnell as opposed to representing the good people of Texas. And as being in Texas for 33 years, I want to get into policy for Texans as opposed to politics and a partisan bickering that's been taking place in Washington now for God knows how long. So it's very hard for us to understand, and I think even for Texans, as we've polled and we've read, quite a bit, talked to quite a few people about where Senator Cornyn stands on a number of issues, and many times we Texans don't really understand where Senator Cornyn stands on many issues until after a vote is already done. And then we see, so it's more of a reactive type of response that we get from Senator Cornyn than reactive. So that amongst many other issues is very exciting for me to represent the state of Texas as a business leader as well. Senator Cornyn, I think, is an honorable man. He's been in public service for a long time. He's been in the Senate since 2002. Obviously, I think that the demographics have changed. Certainly, it's no news to you two and your listeners that we have quite a few people coming in from California, New York, and New Jersey, which are changing the demographics of the state. And so, again, being a Reagan Republican, I want to keep it that way. I want to use common sense, conservative values to represent the people of Texas. And I don't think that and I've been watching this. I'm a student of politics. I've been watching this for years, and particularly in the last cycle with Senator Cornyn, we believe, and it's just not my opinion. I think there's polls that you can read as well that suggest that he has just been out of touch with Texans, and I want to change that.
What do you plan on doing, Mr. Yancey, to really reach? You talk about how the demographic is changing here in Texas. More Californians, people from across the country are coming here. Also, a lot of Hispanics. And as a Hispanic myself, I've always said that I think a place where we lack as conservatives and Republicans is to really spread the message of what conservatives stand for and what we value. How do you plan on doing that and maybe reaching Hispanics or reaching millennials?
Well, both of those are very good questions. Immigration for us is I think the Republicans have perhaps in some cases tripped over themselves a little bit. But look, the bottom line on immigration is that we're a country of a rule of law. I, for one, as a Republican, want to protect the borders, but I want to welcome legal immigrants into our country. And so, they can come into our country, come into our ports legally. You go back and you listen to all the rhetoric surrounding the 60,000 people that were, pouring into the border some time ago. That happened in a very short period of time. I don't remember the specific time frame, but within 6 to 10 days or so. We're not equipped to take that many people. So when you hear, of course, you get certain news media outlets that will say we're caging kids and we're caging this and we're caging that. We're equipped to accommodate somewhere between 1,000 and a couple thousand people. We had 60,000 people come across our borders within a 6 to 10 day time frame. So listen, I am Roxanne. I said I was a Reagan Republican, but I'm also a common sense guy as well, and I want to do what's mutually beneficial for all. I'm not an exclusionary type person. I want, but things have to be done legally. We have to follow the law, sir. Right? And so I'm not. I think the idea. I don't want to get off on a tangent on the wall, but I think there would have been a. If I was king, it could go. Kind of wave my wand. I probably would have handled that a little bit differently. But I'm not president. The president's done what he's done. We all remember during the election cycle of who's going to pay for the wall, and we now know that that's now not been the case. So as a Reagan Republican, I certainly would have handled that differently. My idea of going to Washington, mostly because of my business background, is I want to get our fiscal matters in order. We are Roxanne in dire straits with a national debt going up $23 billion.
Yes, sir.
This year, the federal government will close their books September 30th, and we'll have a deficit north of $1 trillion.
Wow,
that's untenable. And listen, it's going to take somebody with bold, common sense ideas to fix that, and it's not going to happen overnight. But it can't be to the both of you and to your viewers. It can't be you just can't continue to kick the can down the road. Something's got to give somewhere.
Mark Yancey is our guest on 710 KURV, a Republican who is challenging Senator Cornyn to represent Texas in the U.S. Senate. Last question before we go, Mr. Yancey. What's your game plan? Because somebody like the name of Cornyn, people know who he is, and people tend to vote for who they know. So what are you planning on doing to reach Texans to say, hey, I'm here, vote for me?
Well, thanks for the question, Roxanne. That's a good question. And, we feel like we've got a very good infrastructure in place. I've got very good advisors around me I'm very pleased with. Listen, the bottom line is, and we've got evidence to support this, I certainly won't bore your viewers with this, but you might be surprised to know that Senator Cornyn is not well known in the state. And so if we look at our other senator, he is well known because he ran for president. So, more people would know of Cruz because he ran for president. But there is a recent Dallas Morning News poll that was out, and I don't have that in front of me, but the numbers were not I think it was something to the effect of 37% job approval rating, and there was something, so I'm calling from memory here, so don't hold me these numbers, my apologies, is 30% of them were neutral or had no idea who Senator Cornyn was.
Well,
and so those are the type of things, Roxanne, we believe that we can get out on a grassroots effort and instill this common sense, inclusive Republican. Listen, I'm not way over to the right, so if you look in the kind of look in the center, move me a little bit to the right, and that's kind of where I am. I'm not way over to the right, and that's so. I don't want to speak for Senator Cornyn, but I believe he's more of a moderate, and I would probably move a little bit more over to the right than he is. But listen, I want to fix the federal. That's my number one goal if I can make it through March 3rd, we have to figure out for all Americans. But I'm representing Texas, so I'm worried about the 27 million people in Texas,
yes, sir.
And that must be addressed.
Mr. Yancey, we got to go, but I hope we have you on again soon because I know there's so much more to talk about. That is Mark Yancey. He's a Republican from Dallas who is challenging Senator Cornyn to be your next senator. Our guest on 710 KURV.